And for more on this, we have a Democratic Congressman from Pennsylvania, a member of the House Appropriations Committee, Matt Cartwright. Congressman, thank you for taking time on Saturday. Let's start where Marianne Rafferty left off with these soaring gas prices. Now, I want to play for you. We heard from members of the Senate, along with the spokeswoman now at the White House, talking about why these gas prices are so high. Take a listen. I want to get your reaction.
As the president has said, President Putin's actions are what is driving the price increase at the pump. The president is focused on doing everything in his power to address the Putin price hike.
You can thank the activity of Vladimir Putin for invading Ukraine and pulling essentially those bills.
With all due respect, Madam Secretary, that's utter nonsense.
Congressman, I want to get your reaction. Do you believe that it is Vladimir Putin's fault for these gas prices, or is there more at play here?
Well, Griffin, I said it's nice to be with you, and yeah, we need to be talking about inflation. It's something that, as Americans, we are all suffering from. Here in northeastern Pennsylvania, it's not quite to $6. It's upper fours, $4.70 I just saw on the way down here to the studio. But, it's like anything else. To fix on one thing is probably a mistake. There's usually a range of reasons why things happen. We have coming out of a pandemic. I just came from the funeral service for a dear friend of mine who died at 102. He served in Australia and New Guinea in the Army Air Corps in World War II. And the reason I mention that is after World War II, we had this horrible supply chain interruption. And what did it lead to, Griff? Inflation. We struggled with inflation for a very long time after World War II. That's one factor. Certainly, Putin, cutting off the Russian oil and gas. People agreed that it's something that we had to suck it up. We had to do that to stick up for Ukraine, and let's all pray for Ukraine, of course. And of course, the other thing is there's a lot of price gouging going on, Griff. I mean, in the first quarter of this year, the top 4 oil and gas companies made record profits or 10-year record profits. We're talking about the top 4 was $27 billion in profits. They are lining their pockets right now. It's all of those things, and we need to address all of them one at a time.
Well, I guess, Congressman, my question to you is, because you've got a primary, both parties, happening there in your state this past week. The Republican primary is still going on there, too close to call. But this message coming from the administration and Democrats like yourself are saying that it's this three-headed boogeyman, COVID, Putin, and greedy corporations that cause these gas prices. But there's indications that voters are just not buying that. Do you believe Pennsylvania voters are on board with that, or do they also think that the policies of this administration are leading to these high gas prices and, at worst, not helping to solve the problem?
Well, I think the key, Griff, is we need to talk about it and we need to tell voters the truth. And the truth is, all of the inflation that we're seeing, we're talking about better than 8% inflation, which is a lot across all of the consumer goods. But when you talk about fuel prices, it's over 30%, up to 32% inflation in fuel prices. So you think about it, it's not just the horrible experience you have of filling up your gas tank and looking at the astronomical price you have to pay for it, but it's everything else that you buy in consumer goods that have to be shipped, have to be transported, have to be manufactured by people who have to drive to work. The fuel prices at 30% inflation is just commanding the inflation across the board. And that's why I was proud to vote for the consumer price fuel anti-gouging legislation that we did this week in the Congress. It gives the FTC the power to investigate and to fine fuel companies that are overcharging and profiteering and gouging the American consumer.
Well, Congressman, one thing's for sure, when we head into Memorial Day weekend and people are feeling that sticker shock, it is $4.77 a gallon of regular gas in Pennsylvania, as you rightly point out. They're going to be thinking about that and holding someone accountable. We didn't even get to the baby formula. Fortunately, some is on the way here. That also all part of some suffering on the part of the Americans. Congressman Matt Cartwright, thank you very much for taking time. Have a great Saturday.
Glad to be with you, Griff. We'll see you next time.